The quality of the question you ask yourself is in direct proportion to the quality of the answer you get back.
I think one of the biggest mistakes we make is that we don't make enough, so we don't learn it quickly.
Reasons reap results.
That was a bit of a weird one. Come on everybody, I'm just on the way to the airport and I'm heading to LA for a very exclusive interview with no other than Mr. J. Shetty. One of the things I love about traveling in the morning is having a clear mindset. And when you wake up in the morning, there's no distractions, no one's calling you, no one's emailing you, no one's WhatsApping you. You just have that clear process to really start achieving what you want in life, because it's just clarity, it's all about clarity. So we just arrived at Heathrow and it is freezing. It's probably around like 2 degrees and I can't believe it. It's like March, April now and it should be warm, but it's still freezing. So anyway, I'm gonna head to the checkout area. See you soon. Just gone through security. What you'll find is they make you walk through all these like toiletries and you know, sell perfume and aftershave and all that kind of stuff. So look at this. You have to walk through here to be able to get to your gate. And so the interesting thing about that is a business lesson is product placement. So just by putting your customers in the right environment consistently, even if people are not thinking of buying, they'll still buy stuff. How many times have you been shopping and you said to yourself, I'm not going to buy anything, and then you end up buying, you know, coming home with a whole load of shopping? Well, that's the whole, it's the same thing with this. You know, they make, the reason why they place this, just by putting your products in the right place at the right time in front of people, you actually increase your sales. Look, I hurt myself here when I ripped it. My bag just broke, basically. Hey, that's cool. That was a bit of a weird one. Just walking along and then the bag just breaks. So one of the reasons why I'm going to LA is we're doing a few collaborations, and I think one of the biggest things that you want to think about when it comes to collaborations is think about how you can help people. Like what's the one thing you can help people with? I think a lot of times when people are networking, when they are trying to collaborate, for example, I get a lot of messages from people saying, hey John, I literally just got one now from somebody who I've never heard of before, saying, John, can you go fund me? Or you know, people are sending me messages like, John, can you send me some money? I don't even know who you are. So, you know, they always want to come from the place of value first. When you come from that value proposition, then you want to start thinking about how can you help and serve that person. Always give first. Always find out, you know, what you can offer. Find out, I mean, a really good question to ask. You can just say, look, hey, you know, what's your biggest challenge right now that I can help you with? So that's one really good question that you can ask. Cabins here are a little bit smaller than I expected. Arrived in LA. It's about a 10-hour flight, but it was good, nice and smooth, direct, and head to the hotel now. Right, so we just arrived here at the board office area, and it's a pretty amazing hotel. Check it out. Alright, so we just arrived and just checked into the room. Look at the bathroom. Bathroom's quite nice. And yeah, I got a pretty nice view actually. Look at this view over here. It's Hollywood apparently is just down there. This is Beverly Hills. So yeah, I guess one of the things I learned whilst I was on the plane is actually what I find is when you're on the plane, you get so many different ideas. And so what you want to do is you want to write them down, brain dump any ideas that you've got, because what happens is if you keep everything in here, it's really hard to take action because you just feel so overwhelmed. So it's really, really good. A really good tip is just to brain dump everything, so you actually start to focus more, and then if you can focus more, you can then take more action. It is 6:26 a.m. so it's like, what, 1 o'clock in the morning. Turn the lights. I think I'm officially jet lagged. So what do you do when you're jet lagged? You have so many ideas kind of like running through your head, and I think sometimes when you get too many ideas, like yesterday obviously I had some pretty important meetings and speaking to some amazing people, and just like your brains just get so many different, like literally, I don't know if any of you have ever just had so many ideas you just can't sleep. I don't know if it's jet lag or it's the ideas, but I think it's a bit of both. And so one of the things I love to do is when you're jet lagged or when you can't sleep and you want to brain dump, either have like a book next to your like take notes like this. Or voice recordings. So sometimes I'm just like, oh my God, I've got to record that idea. So voice memo, right? So that's another thing you can do. Or just type it into your notes. But the problem is, as soon as you pick up your phone, guess what? You start going into the rabbit hole, and then people start sending you messages. And so I can see messages coming in now. So yeah, it's a really, really good tip that if you are looking to, sort of hold those, because you never know when the idea is going to turn into like $1 million ideas. You just at that moment, sometimes it's like when you have a dream, and in your dream you have this amazing idea. You're like, when I wake up I want to write that idea down. And then when you wake up you're like, I don't know, I forgot the idea. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to get ready now, get ready for breakfast, have a shower, and head into my really important interview that I have with someone very special. Good morning, everybody. So I just got ready, going to head over to the interview in a second in LA. It's beautiful, actually, location. Quite nice. One of the things that I was thinking about as I was having my double espresso is that the quality of the question you ask yourself is in direct proportion to the quality of the answer you get back. So when you're with people, it's better to just listen rather than just to talk, because when you listen, you're learning. Everybody, I'm here with the amazing Jay Shetty. How's it going, brother?
Yeah, really good, man.
Hey, look, you create amazing content that goes viral. Crazy content goes viral. What's one tip you can give to everybody for making their content go viral?
The biggest tip I'd say is we focus so much when we make a video on what do people know from this video, what do people learn from this video. The question we should be asking ourselves is, how are people going to feel after watching this video? When you make a video or a piece of content that triggers a feeling or an emotion in someone's life, that's going to be more shareable than viral content.
Awesome. What do you think the biggest mistake people make when they're actually creating content?
I think one of the biggest mistakes we make is that we don't make enough, so we don't learn it quickly. So when someone says I make 1 video a month, I'd rather make 4 videos a month because I learn more. So if I test one and it doesn't go so well, I know what I'm going to do for the next one to test slightly. So people don't test often. We're testing too little at a time. We're doing 1 video a month. It's not learning enough.
One of the things that people always say about, but I've got to be perfect on camera. But what's your take on professional videos versus like just videos like this?
For consistent virality, I would say if you can up the production, great. But the best thing is go find a friend who has a nice camera, sit down with them, like pick favors. That's what I did. When I made my first video, I just had my friend come out with me and I took him out for a whole day. I didn't even pay him, I bought him lunch. And that's how we started making videos.
Awesome, brother. Hope you got a lot of value from this.
Yeah, thanks,
bro.
Thank you, bro.
Awesome.
Thanks, man.
just finished the interview. If you didn't catch it, make sure you check it out online. And one of the things I learned in this interview with Jay, one of the things I realized is that everyone's impossible is possible. If you take away the word impossible, take away the I-am apostrophe, it spells I'm possible. So I just want you to know that whatever you want to work on, whatever you've been trying to do, what plans you're trying to do, make sure that you do it. So yeah, just focus on what you want to do. Do it. Focus. Everything that you've got, 100%, 1,000%, and eventually opportunities start to open, and then you'll start to get results. This is John Lee here. Today I'm with the one and only Jim Kwik. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. This is fun. Love it.
So, those of you who don't know who Jim is, expert when it comes to memory, learning things like 1,000 times quicker, work with some amazing entrepreneurs, billionaires, celebrities. So, if people are watching this and they want to learn stuff like really quick,
Yeah.
what's the one tip you got for people to learn stuff really quick?
Whether you want to read faster or if you want to remember people's names, if you want to give a speech without notes, all the stuff that we teach, really you have to start with the art of memory is the art of attention. The art of memory is the art of attention. When you meet people's names, most people aren't even listening to the person's name. They're talking to themselves, they're waiting for themselves to speak. But observation is always key. And really the key to observation is presence. If you want a great memory, if you want a powerful presence with people, you have to be powerfully present with people. And that's for sure.
So,
Like you are.
thank you. So, what do you think the number one mistake people make is they're like they're trying to do something, they're trying to remember something,
Yeah.
but they just when you want to think about someone's name, it just disappears, and then it just pops into your mind.
Yeah.
So, what do you think the biggest mistake is on why that happens?
Yeah, I think part of it is motivation. So if you want to remember someone's name, ask yourself, why do I want to remember this person's name? Maybe it's to show the person respect. Maybe it's to do a deal. Maybe it's to make a new friend. Maybe it's these things I learned from this conversation. Because reasons reap results, right? It goes head, heart, hands. That's the success formula. You could affirm things in your head, set goals in your head, but you're not acting with your hands, you're procrastinating, not getting the result. Check in with the second age, which is your heart, which is the center of emotion. And people don't know. Just buy, emotionally, they justify logically, but we're not logical, we're biological. Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, all that chemical soup. You want to plug into that power by asking them and yourself, why do you want to remember this? And why do you want to learn this so fast? And who's counting on you to play your A game today in a big way?
Wow, that's amazing advice. One last thing before we go. You spend a lot of time with billionaires, entrepreneurs, A-list celebrities. What's the number one thing that you notice that all of these people have in common?
Yeah, lifelong learning. I mean, literally for their business and their brand to grow, they know that they have to grow. And so they are avid learners, and they don't settle for mediocrity, and they believe in themselves. Like when you look at, there's a bird over there on a tree. If the bird's sitting on the tree over there, which is an incredible view here, its confidence doesn't come from its trust in the branch. It comes from its trust in its own wings. And I really feel like, your life is like an egg, that if an egg is broken by an outside force, life ends. If it's broken by an inside force, life begins. All great things began on the inside. And you have greatness inside of you, you have genius inside of you. And now is the time to let it out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys. If you like that, by the way, if people want to know more about you, where can they find out more information about you?
Our podcast, we have the #1 training podcast out there. It's only 15 minutes on how to remember names, how to read a book a week, how to learn languages, how to be able to give speeches on notes, how to change all your habits and limiting beliefs. So it's called Kwik Brain, Kwik Brain. You can just search my name, Jim Kwik, on your podcast app or on social medias.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of following you, so I learn a lot myself. And
Thank you.
I learned a lot just in this conversation you and I had, so thank you. The faster you can learn, the faster you can earn.
Yeah.
The most successful people in the world, they commit themselves to lifelong learning. And they're consistent, because if you're persistent, you could get it, but if you're consistent, you can keep it. And consistency compounds. Little by little, a little becomes a lot. And
There you got it.
Yeah.
So no excuses now. You now have the strategies to learn quicker. Go ahead, do it. Take action. Bye for now. Cheers, brother.